For the anointing class and overall public, I won't take up too much of your time. I will be bringing two scriptures out of the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verses 19 and 20. The same thing that God had prophesied for Joseph to go through and bear up under from his family hand back in biblical times, the exact same thing that Joseph went through back in biblical times. I was prophesied to go through the exact same thing in modern day times with my family, and this is to be true and exact on the modern day Joseph. Please don't take this lightly, people. And I'm still going through this up until this very day, but guess what? I won and conquered because my God fights for me as I stand still and watch him fight, and my God always win the battle because I'm still alive to this day to tell y'all about it. So I won't take up too much of y'all time. The anointed class and overall public, I will be giving two scriptures out of the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verses 19 and 20. Please bear with me. Okay, for the anointed class and overall public, I'm now in the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verses 19 and 20. This is verse 19. Joseph said to them, "Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God?" This is verse 20. Although you meant to harm me, God intended it to turn out well and to preserve many people alive, as he is doing today. I'm going to go back over this verse one more time, people. In the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 20. This is verse 19. Joseph said to them, "Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? Although you meant to harm me, God intended it to turn out well and preserve many people alive, as he is doing today." Okay, for anointed class and overall public, I'm about to break these two verses down. In the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verse 19 and 20, this is verse 19. Job said to them, "Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God?" This is when, during the time of the famine, after Joseph had finally revealed himself to his brothers, the same brothers that tried to harm him, they really wanted to kill him. But one brother stood up and said, "No, don't kill him. We'll just throw him in the pits and take his robe that his father had given him at that time, because all his brothers were jealous of him because Joseph was a dreamer, meaning God had gave Joseph visions of what's to take place in the near future, even though he didn't quite understand it. But he was displaying these visions to his family, and his brother became jealous of him. Also, he was his dad's favorite child, so his brother was also jealous of that. So when his dad told him to go and check on his brothers, they see him from afar and said, "Well, there go that dreamer. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and kill him." But one brother stood up and said, "No, we ain't gonna kill him. Let's just take the robe off and throw him in a pit and then kill a slaughtered animal and put the blood all over him." And I said a wild animal got hold to him, and what was left was his robe, which was a lie, but it was all prophesied through them, from God, through them, for them to carry God's prophecy for Joseph. Like I said, they were jealous of Joseph. So it's that same thing Joseph went through, I'm going through with my family. But this was during the famine, people. I just give y'all a short little summary of what was going on. But this was during the famine. And this when Joseph finally revealed himself to his brothers. Because they was afraid, because they knew what they did to him, and they thought Joseph wanted revenge, but he didn't. I don't want the revenge of the betrayal I went through. Do it hurt? Yeah, it hurt. But at the same time, I'm healed over it, and I just don't have nothing to do with these individuals no more. I don't hate them. I just know that they're not healed, and they're being led by a demonic, entity that lives in their vessel. So by me understanding this, I allow God to fight my battles. I don't have to lift a finger. This, like I said, this is verse 19. Job said to them, "Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God?" He was telling his brothers, "Do not be afraid," meaning don't have no fear. Am I in the place of God? Meaning, am I in the place of God? Place meaning rank, position. Do I sit, in the seat of God's throne? That's what he's saying. No, I'm not in the place of God. Prophecy was carried out from God through y'all for this to happen. And this is verse 20. Although you meant to harm me, like you said, although y'all meant to harm me, same thing Joseph went through. Like I said, they meant to kill him. But one brother stood up. Because it was prophesied for them not to kill him. Stood up and said, no, we ain't going to kill him. And throw him in the pit and sell him, as a slave into Egypt. Like I said, although y'all meant to harm me bring injury to. God intended it to turn out well. Like I said, even though my family meant to harm me, poison, murder by hire, all type of stuff. This for real, people. No. God said, I have something planned out for my chosen one, for this earth angel. And it's not going to go the way that they wanted it to, even up until this day. Although you meant to harm me, God intended it to turn out well. Word intend means have in mind as a purpose, plan. Mean for a particular plan or use. Some said, once again, the word tend mean have in mind as a purpose, plan. Mean for a particular plan or use, meaning God had a plan for Joseph's life, as his will intended for Joseph to carry out God's purpose, just like me. God had a plan for me, for my life as an earth angel. And he already had in mind as this exact purpose, which is his will for me to carry out, as he intended me to do, as I'm doing up until this very day. Although you meant to harm me, God intended it to turn out well and preserve many people alive. So he was doing the famine, through Joseph, God was able to preserve many people alive. Like I said, Joseph had a vision after he told Pharaoh that, it's going to be 7 years of harvesting good crops, food, and then it's going to be 7 years of famine. It ain't going to be nothing. So God used Joseph to relay this message or vision to Pharaoh. And when Pharaoh made him second in command over Egypt, from God's guidance and from God's direction and purpose and will that he had in mind, he used Joseph to preserve not only his family lineage, but also the whole world. Not only Egypt, everywhere during that time on the whole earth, it was 7 years of food and 7 years of famine. So people ran out of food, people starving. So they had to come to Egypt to Joseph, the same one that they tried to kill. So Joseph, for the 7 years, Joseph put up food. For 7 years, he saved the food stock. For 7 years, and 7 years he did that. And then when the famine came for 7 years, they had an abundance that was going to last throughout the 7 years of the famine, of the drought. And God already knew this, so he used Joseph to do this because he already gave Pharaoh visions in his head. And Pharaoh couldn't understand it. When the cow was on the screen eating, it was a fat cow eating good, but then the skinny cow that looked bad came up and ate that fat cow. You know what I mean? That mean it was going to be some good abundance of food when he seen that fat cow. This is the vision that Pharaoh had. He didn't quite understand it. But then a skinny, sickly cow came up and ate that fat cow, and it scared Pharaoh and woke him up out of his dream. That means it was going to be 7 years of famine. I'm just giving y'all a short summary, summing up a nutshell. So God used Joseph to relay these visions to Pharaoh, and then Pharaoh made him second in command, and then everything else after that took place. So the same brothers that want to kill him, that Joseph was from the land of Canaan, So like I said, the whole earth went dry without no food. So his brothers had to come from the land of Canaan. The same when they tried to kill, they didn't know it was going to be Joseph. It was going to be meeting. They had traveled from the land of Canaan to Egypt to buy food stuff and come back. And after they ran out that second time, when Joseph revealed himself. But they were scared. They thought Joseph wanted revenge, but he didn't. He had them healed and got over that and forgave them. Like I said, I went through the exact same thing with my family. It's in a different timeline. Yeah, I forgave them. Forgiving me, I forgive myself. and I'm able to heal from it. Forgive them mean I don't hold no type of hatred or bitterness in my heart for them, even though they try to kill me, steal my inheritance, poison me, all type of stuff. And you can believe this or not, I know it to be true, and I'm not afraid to speak about it. I just don't have no more dealings with them. I allow God to deal with them, and I move on with my life. So I'm just giving y'all a summary of my past in bits and pieces to be true. So God intended it to turn out well and to preserve many people alive as he is doing today. So he preserved many people alive, Joseph said, as he was doing during that time. Through Joseph, by Joseph put up all that food for them 7 years of abundance, and then for the 7 years of famine, he had enough food to spread out throughout the whole universe at that time. So for anointed class or overall public, y'all get a chance, please go to the book of Genesis chapter 15, verse 19 and 20. That's the book of Genesis chapter 50, verse 19 and 20. Like I told y'all, throughout this course of me being an earth angel, a divine being, and wrapped up in this human vessel, I will be giving y'all bits and pieces of my past. That's the only time I go back in the past. Not to shame or harm no one. When God tells me to speak, I speak. But at the same time, I tell the truth. I don't have to call no names. I tell the truth. And I'm able to bring together with what Joseph went through, is that same thing I'm going through. But like I tell you, I'm healed from it. I don't hate no one, hold no business. I just understand that these individuals are not healed and they carry on demonic spirits. I'm on the light. So until we meet again, anointed class and overall public, please, you get a chance, please go to the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verse 19 and 20. If you're going through the exact same thing, speak the truth. Stop holding it in. You don't need to hold it in because you're not going to heal that way. I'm healed, so I'm able to let it out. And I'm still healed and still going through my healing process by able to display it to the world without any shame or anything to hide. I love all y'all. Take care. Peace.